I'm currently a software engineer for game development at Unbroken Studios, where we're currently working on top secret projects.
Laptop ng parents ko. And doon ko siya nilalaro. To the point na nasira yung laptop.
Anong game yun?
Civilization 3.
Civ 3 nilaro ko rin yan. Oh.
So before we proceed dito sa video, you'll first like to thank our friends from Apps. Apps is a mobile game studio and publisher. They have over 100 million downloads across their portfolio of games. Yung iba, baka nalaro nyo na. Their mission is to connect the world through amazing daily experiences. If you want to learn more, you can check out their Facebook page at Apps or their website at kuapps.com.
So, hello everyone! Welcome na sa aming last episode. Wow! Yan, ang dami na nating na-meet na people. Kuya Cholo, who's a software engineer. Si Kuya Sed, who's a high school teacher. Si Kuya Jake, who's a data analyst sa Japan. Si Kuya Neil, ayan, who's a software engineer sa Facebook. Ate Carms, and si Kuya Kim sa Singapore. Kuya Jerome, who's currently an assistant vice president sa isang insurance company. And si Ate Ara, who's working sa security space sa VMware. For this video naman, our guest for today is a graduate din of BS Computer Science sa UP Los Baños and former Visuals and Logistics Department member sa BL. And naging part din siya ng UP Painters Club. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest for today, Mr. Brian Lee. Ayun. Hi, Kuya Brian.
David, sorry.
David na lang.
David, yeah. Thanks for having me today. My name is Brian Lee. Graduated from the BS Computer Science program of UPLB. Joined YSES in 2009. Became a member of the Visuals and Logistics department. I've been in game development since May 10th, 2012. Ito talaga yung karera na gusto kong habulin mula sa pool. I'm currently a software engineer for game development at Unbroken Studios, where we're currently working on top secret projects. I'm working on something that's really big and something I think I'm really proud of. So after I graduated, I basically started on my path in games development kasi ito talaga yung career na gusto ko pursue. So that story actually started before graduation pa kasi nung 2010, I think, na practicum job fair na hinost ng YSES.
Yes.
Nag-sponsor yung Anino Games, which is the first game development studio in the Philippines, and then I applied for an internship position there. So summer of 2010, I was working in games, and that was really fun. And after the internship period, they liked my performance, and then they offered me an invitation to come back once I graduated. So
wow.
After graduation, I applied for a permanent position as a software engineer for games, and they accepted me. So I worked in that with that company for until 2015, actually, from 2012 to 2015. Working on mobile games, casual games, the match 3s in the genre of Candy Crush. Farmville,
okay.
Stuff like that. Yun yung stomping grounds ko. Kasi yun yung projects na madalas i-outsource sa Pilipinas at the time. So, we work on those big projects. And other things too, like I think one of my more memorable projects was a Sesame Street augmented reality app. There was one particular project na hindi siya na-release, pero may toilet paper company na gusto nila gumawa ng game to advertise their tissue brand.
Okay.
So one of the games was basically kunwari isi-simulate na yung iPhone 4 is a roll of toilet paper, and then ihahagis mo siya to see how far you can throw a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, yung iPhone, itatapon mo, ganun?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, ideally, hindi mo bibitawan yung device. Parang hawak mo lang siya, tapos gagamitin mo lang yung accelerometer. Pero, that project never saw the light of day. For obvious reasons. After Anino Games, I came to Canada. Jumped back and forth between few studios. Sa isang studio na pinag-applyan ko dun, unfortunately shut down. I was with Magnic for 3 months working in the same company. Underwent a temporary shutdown, so I was out of work for a while then. Which is, one of the realities of game development is the industry can be very precarious. There's projects being canceled left and right, so that's one of the things that you need to consider if you want to pursue this career. But yeah, after that, I found my way to Montreal in Canada and worked with Behavior Interactive. So known for games like Dead by Daylight, Fallout Shelter, and big collaborator din sila for other AAA projects. I worked on a little project called Assassin's Creed Rebellion for them. So it's a mobile game in the Assassin's Creed franchise. And that was a really good 2 years, I think, that I spent with them. And yeah, after that, I came to San Diego and worked with Amazon Game Studios down there for a brief while, working on top secrets projects. Really, that's all I can say about that. And then after a while, I came to Unbroken Studios to continue my career here. And I'm still here, still at it.
And so congratulations po kuya. Ayun. So like nung pagpunta niyo po sa Canada, like pinili niyo po talaga na mag-apply doon? Naghanap po talaga kayo ganun?
Yes and no. Yung story kasi nun is nasa Pilipinas ako and I knew that I wanted to push my career forward and eventually work on AAA games and AAA titles. And at the time I was dating somebody then who also wanted to go abroad and study. So we went together in Canada. With the idea that she'll continue her studies and then I'll pursue my career in games. So yun yung ginawa ko. Yun yung ginawa namin. The problem with that is, the number one challenge with working abroad is yung visa situation. So, medyo sugal yan actually na punta ng Canada na wala pang trabaho. So that was a difficult component of that transition. But once you got there, basically, just do your best to apply and look for work. And I was lucky enough to find a job in games still. Yun talaga yung pinupursue ko, pero at that time, I think if your options are quite limited, the thing with software development is, it can be very open, right? Like sa UPLB, tinuruan tayo maging super agile, parang sobrang daming technologies and programming languages yung binabato sa atin. Napalundag-lundag tayo ng topics and lessons.
Yeah, okay.
Which, means that, in some regards, shallow yung learning mo, but at the same time, it teaches you some skills, so that you can jump between different technologies very rapidly and adapt to them. And so I was applying for work outside of games too. Like one of the possible prospects was actually doing missile simulation programs for the Canadian Armed Forces. Because that's just one of the things you do in software engineering, right? But unfortunately, I didn't have the security clearance for that kasi di ako citizen. But yun nga, luckily enough, sa sipag at syaga, nakahanap din ng another opening in game development. So I was able to continue my career there.
Ayun, pero kuya, if ever, kunyari lang, hindi ka nakakuha ng trabaho dun sa Canada, like, were you prepared to go back? Ganun.
I think so, yeah. I mean, at that point, what else do you do, right? I mean,
sabagay. Ayun.
you don't really have a choice, and it's not like coming home is a bad thing in and of itself. Anyway, pati pag umuwi ka, may possibility pa rin naman na makahanap pa rin ng work elsewhere. Like the thing with the Philippines is, this is something that wasn't the case at the time. Dati noon mas maliit yung game development industry sa Pilipinas, pero ngayon mas maraming AAA companies na nag-outsource sa Pilipinas actually.
Oh.
So, yeah, like recent recent titles like Cyberpunk 2077 outsourced to 3 companies in the Philippines. Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Part 2 also outsourced to the Philippines.
Wow.
Yep, so Synergy 88, the team of Secret 6, and there's another company that's missing from my head right now. But if I were to go back to the Philippines, I think I would still be able to, do something similar. Still pursue my career in games and, enjoy some progression there. Especially since Ubisoft also recently opened their doors in the Philippines.
Pero at least kuya, di ba, hindi naman nangyari yun. So at least nakahanap ka ng work sa Canada, yun. And yeah, diyan ka na. So
yeah,
ayan.
I got lucky.
Well deserved naman. Ayun kuya, our next question is, so yun nga, di ba, you mentioned na you're working for Unbroken Studios. Ayan. Sponsored talaga to ng Unbroken eh. Pinapromote. Ayun. So, can you tell us more about this studio? Ayun, like, ano po ba yung nag-push sa inyo na mag-work sa kanila? May nahanap ba kayong game na dinevelop nila? Or nakita nyo tapos nagustuhan nyo? Or hindi po ganun? Ano po yung naging process?
So, naging process is, I think what I found na really attractive sa Unbroken Studios is hindi yung game catalog ng company kasi practically, bago pa yung company so wala pang big games na release at this point in time. Pero I think it's the people behind the team. When you look at Unbroken Studios, it's yung DNA niya is far-reaching. Like we have people who've worked on Call of Duty, Battlefield, all the big EA titles, Star Wars, Battlefront, God of War. Yung team makeup is really veteran. That there's a really deep, well of experience in terms of development. Like one of the things that really got me excited was joining the team and then finding out na yung isang game na lagi kong paboritong nilalaro dati, like Star Wars Battlefront, was the brainchild of our creative director. Like that's something I didn't even know at the time. Like one of the treats is joining a company and then finding out that you're actually working with the heroes of your past, right, of your childhood.
Wow.
So it's something that's really I guess really it's really heartwarming na yung mga games na nilalaro ko nung bata pa ako. And kasama ko na yung mga developers na were making real experiences. So,
wow.
Yeah, meeting your legends. Like when I joined Amazon Game Studios in San Diego, I got to work with John Smedley, who basically he created the first MMO, right, EverQuest.
Sorry, hindi po familiar.
That was way back when, right? Looking at the very first MMO ever, that was them. So you can think about what that means to me as a younger developer. So it's super flattering that I'm basically in the same leagues as them now. Not really, but we're in the same team at least. And that's something I really aspired and look for in a company, is that you can find people who you can look up to as mentors. As game developers, we're essentially creators, and you want to make sure that you improve in your craft, and the best way to do that is to find someone who's better than you. So there's a lot of mentorship going on in the studio, and in the same vein, we're all equally dedicated to just delivering the quality experience that we ourselves as players would want to experience. So, yeah, I'm really happy with the current setup.
Grabe yun, ang saya. Like, parang hindi ko imagine yung feeling na, like kasi ako po personally, parang fan ako ng Apple products. Ayun, ganun. So, kilala niyo po ba si Johnny Ive? Familiar ba?
I don't think so.
Okay. So basically, parang siya yung nag-design ng iOS, ganun. Yan. Or mga ganong stuff. So parang I can't imagine, di ba, working with someone like that. So, parang, pero kayo, kuya, nagkaroon kayo ng ganong chance.
Yeah, definitely. It's super fun kasi, parang pwede mo silang tanungin about, what are the reasons behind your design decisions, bakit mo ginawa ganon. Tapos, they'll give you a behind the scenes story of how it all happened, whether it happened by happen chance or parang may mastermind plan ba behind it. That's one of the highlights of one's career is meeting people like that kasi basically nakilala ko nga si John Smedley who basically changed the landscape online multiplayer. Like literally nung ni-release nila yung EverQuest, San Diego didn't have the infrastructure to support yung bandwidth requirements ng game. So meron silang news article na nakapaskil dun sa office nila na yung highway is under heavy construction kasi naglalatag sila ng bagong phone cables para lang masupport yung network requirements.
Para dun sa game. Ang galing. Ayun. Grabe yun, kuya. Sobrang nakaka-motivate. Okay. Kung kunyari, naging college student ka ulit, what would you have done differently?
Hindi ko sinabi sa kanya na for game development ko pinupursue computer science. Sinabi ko lang, sige, para mag-computer. Malay mo, magtrabaho ko sa bangko.